Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brooks Jackson, and I'm the Vice President for Medical Affairs at the University of Iowa and Dean of the University of Iowa Roy J. and Lucille A. Carver College of Medicine. And I would like to formally welcome the class of 2022 and your families and friends, along with our faculty, staff, and students to the 24th Annual White Coat Ceremony. This is always a wonderful occasion, and we are delighted to be holding it in Hansher Auditorium. Isn't this a magnificent building? Can we have a little applause here for them? I would like to take the opportunity to recognize the deans, department chairs, and faculty who have joined us today. We are thankful for your strong support of the college and the class of 2022. Also here to help me welcome you today are several other esteemed colleagues. First, starting at my far right, is today's keynote speaker, Dr. Janet Fairley, John S. Strauss Professor and Chair in the Department of Dermatology. Next, we have Dr. Chris Cooper, a Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education in the Carver College of Medicine and Professor in the Department of Urology. Next to Dr. Cooper is Dr. Patricia Winokur, Executive Dean and Senior Associate Dean for Clinical and Translational Science in the Carver College of Medicine and Professor in the Department of Internals. Next is Dr. Michael Romano, who serves as the 169th President of the Iowa Medical Society. And then we have Kenneth Cates, Associate Vice President and Chief Executive Officer, University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics. And finally, it is my pleasure to introduce the University of Iowa Interim Executive Vice President and Provost, Dr. Susan Curry. Dr. Curry was appointed Interim Executive Vice President and Provost on April 1st, 2017. Prior to that, Dr. Curry was Dean of the University of Iowa College of Public Health, where she still holds the rank of Distinguished Professor in the Department of Health Management and Policy. She is recognized internationally for her expertise in behavioral science and translation of research findings into health policy, and is a fellow of both the Society of Behavioral Medicine and the American Psychological Association. Dr. Curry is chair of the United States Preventive Services Task Force. She was elected to the National Academy of Medicine, formerly the Institute of Medicine, and is a member of their board on population health and past Section 9 chair. She is also a member of the CDC's Interagency Committee on Smoking and Health. She is the recipient of numerous awards, including the American Society for Preventive Oncology's Joseph R. Cullen Memorial Award, the Society of Behavioral Medicine's Distinguished Scientist Award, and the Society for Research on Nicotine and Tobacco's John Slade Award. Please join me in welcoming University of Iowa's Executive Vice President, Dr. Susan Curry.
Thank you, Vice President Jackson, and distinguished colleagues and families and friends, and especially our members of the Carver College of Medicine class of 2022. It is truly my pleasure to bring greetings on behalf of President Harold and the leadership of the University of Iowa. It's a real honor to be part of this very special occasion and to be among the first to welcome you to the University of Iowa community. As the start of a new academic year approaches, hundreds of graduate and professional students are preparing to start a new chapter of their lives at the University of Iowa. We are thrilled to welcome each one of those students, and we're excited for them as they embark on their journeys toward becoming part of our nation's next generation of scientists and poets, urban planners and educators, lawyers and engineers. Let's also be clear, we're going to ask a lot of them, just as we will of you. We expect all of our graduate and professional students to work hard, master a rigorous curriculum, be engaged, and act ethically. But as we share this very special ceremony today, we're asking something even more from each of you. That's because the very special journey you are embarking on today carries with it a responsibility unlike anything your peers outside the medical field will face. The responsibility your faculty mentors will place on your shoulders today as they welcome you to healthcare practice includes the commitment to practice humanism in medicine. That is, to keep human concerns always at the center of your professional life. We are asking you today to commit to leading that life with compassion, empathy, and respect for each patient's unique story. We ask you to honor the trust your patients will soon put in you by listening to them with real curiosity and humility, and to always consider how you would feel in their shoes. In the same vein, we hope you will remember to be kind to yourself as you face the inevitable ups and downs of the challenging path that you've chosen. One important way to do that is to care for the relationships that keep you grounded. Relationships with people like the parents, grandparents, spouses, partners, children, and friends who have supported you through all the hard work that got you to this point, and who will continue to cheer you on as you undertake this new challenge. I hope you will be sure to say thank you to those people today and many more times in the years to come as they continue to support you through all your struggles and triumphs. Doctors-to-be, I salute you for choosing this path, and I congratulate you on choosing one of the best colleges of medicine in the country, with exceptionally high standards of excellence and one of the finest medical facilities in the nation. On top of which, it is a place that is truly characterized by a strong spirit of collaboration among faculty and students, a place where you will find support when you need it, and where you will make a difference in the lives of your peers as well as your patients. As you don the white coat today, I hope you will embrace its symbolism, and from this moment forward, let it always remind you of the human bond that connects us, and how powerful that bond can be in your personal and professional lives. On behalf of the entire university community, congratulations, welcome, and I wish you the very best.
Good afternoon. We practiced this. Come on. Good afternoon. Good job. By the way, your parents did a much better job than you did. So. It's my pleasure to be here today. These are such happy events, and I really look forward to it every year. I also appreciate all the faculty, the staff, the students, the friends and family members who are here to share in this important occasion. As Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education, part of my job is to help oversee the process of student selection. I'm pleased to note that the class of 2022 is truly an exceptional class. As a graduate of this college, I speak from firsthand experience when I tell you that this is an outstanding medical school, and I hope I proved that to all of you earlier today. There are excellent educational opportunities for growth, both inside and outside of the classroom. One of the truly great things about Iowa is its people. You will find that the Carver College of Medicine faculty and staff really care about your experience here, and we will be there for you throughout your medical education. I think there's an unparalleled spirit of collaboration among students as well as faculty that contribute to an outstanding learning environment. I know that as the college's newest students, you're going to strengthen and carry on that tradition. Now it's my privilege and my pleasure to introduce the keynote speaker for the 2018 White Coat Ceremony, Dr. Janet Fairley. She's the professor and chair of the Department of Dermatology. Dr. Fairley completed medical school, residency, and an NIH-sponsored research fellowship at the University of, wait, is this right? Michigan? Well, all right. She has served as chair and head of the Department of Dermatology since 2006. She came to Iowa from the Medical College of Wisconsin, where she was a professor of dermatology and was the director of their residency program. In addition to her administrative responsibilities, Dr. Fairley is a physician scientist, continuing to see patients in clinic and conducting research. Her goal is to translate findings from the laboratory into improved diagnostics and therapies for patients. Dr. Fairley's research interests include autoimmune skin diseases and skin manifestations of systemic illnesses. She's published more than 120 scholarly articles and book chapters. Dr. Fairley is a fellow of the American Academy of Dermatology and the Society for Investigative Dermatology. She's a diplomate of the American Board of Dermatology and actually serves as the current president of that organization. She also serves on the executive committee of the Dermatology Foundation and the board of directors of the American Dermatologic Association. So she's like the head of dermatology everywhere. She's the immediate past president of the Medical Dermatology Society and was recently elected as an honorary member of the French Society of Dermatology. So my impression is that French people don't like Americans, so that's even more impressive. So, I want to just speak on a personal note for a minute because I've worked with Janet on a variety of activities over the last decade or so. And I can tell you, she does an amazing job of balancing our missions of research, education, and patient care. It's easy to focus in for some of our leaders on one or two of those areas. She keeps a nice balance of all three. For me, she's always a go-to person that I can count on. She's willing to serve and is very generous with her time. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Janet Fairley.
And to make Chris feel better about this, I'll tell you now that you're here, you belong to Herky. It doesn't matter where you came from. Now you're an Iowan. But welcome. On behalf of all the faculty, I want to welcome you to the Carver College of Medicine. When Chris asked me to give this welcoming address, I was really honored. And then when I looked at all the previous speakers, I also realized this means I become one of the really senior faculty. That means old. So I did some quick math, and I figured out that I was sitting where you guys are 45 years ago. Yikes. So I'm going to tell you two things. It goes really, really fast. And second of all, things have changed quite a bit. How many of you knew for a long time you wanted to be in medicine? See some hands. Excellent. And how many of you were latecomers? That's okay too. I think whichever way it is, you'll do just fine. I'll tell you about how I got here. I was a junior in college and I was a zoology major. And at the end of my junior year, I had to go have my requisite talk with my advisor because it was going to be my senior year. So the first thing he said to me is, "What are you going to do when you graduate?" And I said to him honestly, "I'm not sure. What have any of your previous advisees done?" He thought about it and he looked at me and goes, "Well, the last person I had who got off with a bachelor's degree in zoology and job hunting got a job tracking down syphilis cases for the Department of Public Health." And I thought, ooh, that does not sound like what I was thinking about for my future career. So that night I went home and I was talking to a friend of mine about my grim job prospects. And she said to me, "Hey, you're good at science and you like people. You should be a physician." So with that advice, here I am. But the most ironic part of the story is every Thursday night during my last 2 years of my residency training, I did moonlighting at what was euphemistically called the social hygiene clinic. You got it, it was the public health department's sexually transmitted infections clinic. So I didn't escape it, but luckily I didn't have to go and bring the people in, I just had to treat the folks who showed up. I have a lot of stories from those days, but I don't think that's what Chris had in mind when he asked me to speak. I think he's hoping that after 45 years I have a little bit of no, he wants to hear those, I see that. At any rate, I thought about it, and I thought, what can I say that's short enough that you'll remember it? So I took my inspiration, Michael Pollan. Has anybody ever read any of Michael Pollan's books? Yeah, he's sort of, what I say, a food anthropologist and a writer. And he has a book called Food Rules. And in this book, on the very first page, he gives you in 7 words the meaning of the entire book. So I guess if you don't want to take time to read it, you're all set. So I thought maybe I can do that. Maybe I can come up with something really short that tells you everything you need to know today. I thought about it, and I couldn't get it into 7 words, but I got 10 for you, okay? Study hard, not always alone, and not just from books. So study hard, that's pretty obvious. Medical school was the first time I studied really, really hard in school. Luckily, my parents are no longer around to hear me say that since they bankrolled my undergraduate education. But it was different in the Stone Ages of medical school. No podcasts, lecture transcription was pretty rudimentary, and the omniscient Wikipedia was not there to answer all your questions. So pretty much we sat 8 hours a day in the lecture hall, broken up by the occasional lab. And I gotta tell you, at times it was not that much fun. There was also sort of a real iron curtain between the first 2 preclinical years and your last 2 years when you finally get to see some patients. And I'm glad that's changed because you'll get an opportunity to meet some real patients earlier on, so you'll remember exactly why it is you're here. Not always alone. It's a reminder that you're not in this journey all alone. Medicine has become a team sport, and you should learn to practice it early on. You have friends, classmates in your learning communities, you'll have faculty mentors, and your family. Lean on them when it gets tough, and have some fun. There's no prize in medical school for going it all alone. And not always from books. That's probably the very most important thing. Most of the really important things I've learned in medicine, I've learned from my patients. They've been so generous to me over the years, sharing their stories, their problems, and for those many patients who are also willing to help with my research, they also shared some blood and on occasion little pieces of their skin. You should never stop learning from them. After all these years, I see new things all the time. The number of ways the human body can go wrong are just never ending. If you're bored practicing medicine, you're not listening closely enough to your patients because they will teach you something every day. And sometimes you learn things from them you don't really expect. I'm going to tell you about a patient I saw about 15 years ago, and he taught me a lot. He was a young man who was referred in to me for acne. And now that's a little unusual in academic medicine because acne is sort of dermatology 101, and most of it is taken care of either by the primary care doctors or the dermatologists out in the community. But after I'd been seeing him a few months, I figured out why they'd referred him to me. He was the sort of patient that's commonly labeled as non-compliant. In doctor speak, that means it's a patient who really doesn't follow the instructions and so doesn't get better. And these patients are often seen by physicians as headaches or a waste of their time. It's a term that's taken on really such a bad connotation that most people feel we shouldn't even use it anymore. And while that might help, it sadly might not do too much to change that attitude. But nonetheless, this was a patient who was a pretty good example of what medical personnel mean when they say somebody's non-compliant. He was 28 years old with sort of moderate acne. He's a nice enough guy, came to most of his appointments, just never doing what we discussed for treatment. And I knew he had insurance, so he actually could get his medications, but just never got better. So one day early in the academic year, I had a brand new, shiny resident in dermatology in my clinic, and she pulled up his chart to go see him in follow-up. And the more senior resident sort of filled her in briefly, nice guy, never uses meds, never gets better. So in she went to see him, and after a little while, she came back and to staff him with me, and she said, yeah, he's still pretty much the same, not much better, not using his medications properly. Dr. Farrelly, did you know he can't read? I was astounded. And when I tell this story all these years later, I can only tell you I still feel that horrible feeling in my stomach like I felt that time. I'd failed that patient. But what he taught me was that no matter how much you know about medicine or your specialty, if you ever forget that behind that patient is a person who may have problems and issues that you have no idea about, if you forget that, you stand a good chance of failing that patient. I failed Dermatology 101 that day. I also made it a point to learn that 14% of native English speakers in the US can't read above the 5th grade level. So you too are going to have an opportunity to see patients who can't read the labels on their medications or the carefully written instructions you'll give them on what to do when you get home. The reason patients don't always follow your advice will be complicated, but it's part of your job to figure out why if you really want to help them. But both physicians and patients, in the end, we're human with all the good and the bad that involves. As doctors, we're here with one purpose, to help people. And if that's not your reason to be here, I'd run fast to that exit. But I know you all know that, and you wouldn't be here if that wasn't what you wanted to do. So keep your hearts and your minds open. It's a wonderful journey you're on in medicine. Study hard, not always alone, and not just from books. Do that and you're going to be just fine, but it's going to go fast. My wish for all of you is that you have half as much fun and amazing adventures as I've had in medicine. Good luck.
Dr. Fairley, that was really outstanding. Thank you very much. As a token, small token of our gratitude, I'd like to present to you a present. It's not wrapped, it's a clock. It's engraved with your name. So. Now let's turn our attention to the white coat. It's a powerful symbol to both the medical profession and society at large. The way physicians dress has been an important part of medical practice since ancient times. In fact, Hippocrates advised doctors on how they should dress, saying, quote, "The healer's uniform should imply a professional interest and interaction. It must convey to even the most anxious patient or physician a seriousness of purpose that helps provide reassurance and confidence that medical concerns will be dealt with competently and conscientiously." Students, the white coat symbolizes your transformation into physicians. It is a cloak of compassion and dedication toward your fellow human beings. May it also serve as a reminder of your commitment to your education and to your chosen profession. Today, we will introduce the students by membership in their learning communities. The Carver College of Medicine learning communities are designed to allow students to support one another and provide more opportunities for leadership and service learning activities across all 4 years of medical school. The communities also help strengthen relationships between students and faculty, collegiate staff, and individuals in our local community. Each medical student has been randomly assigned to one of 4 learning communities. The faculty directors of each community will now introduce their students for presentation of the white coats. We will begin with Dr. David Asprey, who will present the Bean Learning Community. As he reads the name, Vice President and Dean Jackson and I will bestow the white coats. Executive Dean Winokur, Interim Provost Curry, Vice President Cates, Dr. Romano, and Dr. Fairley will offer their congratulations. Dr. Asprey?
Thank you, Dean Cooper. It is my honor to represent the Bean Learning Community at this ceremony today. The Bean Learning Community pays tribute to the prominent physician whose legacy is still evident in the Carver College of Medicine. Dr. William Bean served as the Carver College of Medicine Chairman of the Department of Internal Medicine from 1948 to 1971. During that time, building a great academic enterprise that encouraged excellence in patient care, in teaching, and in research. He was noted for boundless curiosity and a genuine love of learning. His leadership style encouraged, even inspired young faculty to greater heights of achievement than most dared to dream they would attain. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce the new members of the Bean community as they receive their white coat. Hassan Ahamed. Eric Bertrash. Alexandra Bukhara. Corby Berkey. Rachel Dahl. Jennifer Good. Grant Goss. Emma Greiman. Mikako Harata. Grant Henning. James Hickman. Christopher Holt. Akansha Jain. Kyle Kinder. Monica Canuck. Yoon Jae Lee. Nicholas Lind. Rose McLaughlin. Bethany Muyskens. Taryn Nishimura. Carlos Osorno. Emily Parker. Brian Paul. Nicole Platte. Jennifer Ponsolette. Benjamin Reasoner. Leah Reierson. Valerie Rencor. Blain Samuelson. Deepon Sarkar. Nathan Saxby. Morgan Schill. Laura Sazinski. Ashten Sherman. Madeline Slater. Kelvin Tran. Zachary Tully. Grace Welp. And now I would like to invite Professor Katie Iverson to the podium to introduce the students from the Boulware Learning Community.
Our community is named after Dr. Lois Boulware, who was one of the only 6 women graduates of the class of 1937. After a long career as the assistant director of the University Student Health Service, she found herself compelled to help improve patient-physician communications and establish the nation's first hospital patient advocacy program. Then, after her second attempt to retire, Dr. Boulware found a new mission to create a space for family members of patients undergoing surgery. Thus, she opened the Day of Surgery Lounge, which now bears her name, with staff able to provide information regarding surgery specifics and to relay updates from the operating rooms. Our community prides itself in carrying on her tradition of a lifetime devoted to the delivery of excellent, compassionate health care with a human touch. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome and present to you the newest members of the Lois Boulware Learning Community at the Carver College of Medicine. Osama, let's get started. Osama Abu Halawi. Andrea Arthofer. Uma Balakrishnan. Hannah Botkin. Nathan Cow. Emily Caper. Olivia Chase. Heather Green. Trenton Greif. Jacob Gilton. Alison Hefel. Tyler Hughes. Casey Inman. Zara Khan. Tarynne Kinghorn. Brandon Koch. Michael Lung. Robert Mangas. Leanna Meffert. Alex Meyer. Abby Moore. Ryan Newhouse. Savani Parsa. Hunter Fluhop. James Pingenot. Jose Rios-Monterrosa. Jasmine Roger. Edvin Roshich. Pearl Sani. Omar Shaban. Laurel Smines. Pitchett Art Thanupakorn. Charlene Tran. Megan Vree. Benjamin Walker. Nathan Walton. Chi Wong. Cassie Wassink. I would now like to introduce Dr. David Swanson, who's going to introduce the Phlox Learning Community.
Thanks, Katie. We celebrated Reuben Phlox's 112th birthday this spring. Although he has been gone for many decades, I feel I gained a bit of insight this past year about his most defining characteristic, dedication. In February, I went to the retirement party of the 83-year-old family doc in my hometown. I didn't think anyone was as devoted to medicine as Reuben Phlox was. Then I realized I'd been seeing it all my life demonstrated right before me. Reuben Phlox completed his urology residency here at the University of Iowa. He was an early adopter of nuclear medicine and published extensively on the use of radioactive gold in the treatment of inoperable prostate cancers. He co-authored the textbook, Radiation Therapy of Early Prostate Cancer. He was a recognized world leader in the research of bladder and prostate cancer. The combination of his research, legendary work ethic, and excellent service-oriented patient care helped him become department chair, a position that he held for a quarter of a century. Phlox was a member of more than 30 scientific and professional societies and served as the president of not only locally the Johnson County and Iowa Medical Societies, but nationally the American Urological Association and the American Board of Urology, to name just a few of his leadership positions. He received numerous awards, including the American Cancer Society Award for Distinguished Service in Cancer Control and the University of Iowa Distinguished Service Award. The Urology Clinic is named in his honor, and the Department of Urology created an endowed chair in his name. It is now my pleasure to introduce the newest members of the Flock's learning community to carry on in Reuben Flock's tradition. Brandon Bates. Lisa Bell. Edison Chen. Fani Chavuru. Katherine Christel. Gavin Davis-Ramos. Trey Dewitt. Alexandra Eckburg. Jaquil Givens. Devin Headland. Tasnia Iqbal. Brooke Jennings. Sawyer Kieffer. Alison Klimisch. Dhruv Kothari. Hope Kramer. Mason Lamarche. Jared Larson. Ryan Lavering. Matthew Meyer. Madison Mix. David Moore. Gabriella Morgan. Jenna Mullins. Momin Nasser. Samuel Palmer. Ashley Raddick. Natalie Ross. Zachary Rye. Miranda Schene. Anthony Schneider. Mahek Shahid. Emily Trudeau. Nadia Waba. Yixi Wang. Sean Westendorf. Anna White. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Terry Thompson and the McCowan Learning Community.
It's my honor to represent the McCowan Learning Community. This community is named after Dr. Jeannie McCowan. She was among the first women to enroll and graduate what was then known as the University of Iowa Medical Department. She graduated in 1876, and this occurred at a time when few medical schools around the country accepted women. She was widely respected and active leader in state and professional associations, and she actually was a founder of the Iowa State Society of Medical Women. Throughout her career, she was active in helping underprivileged and underrepresented segments of our population, including numerous projects supporting women, children, and institutionalized persons. The McCowan community continues this commitment by supporting projects such as the Domestic Violence Intervention Program, among other projects. It's my honor to present the newest members of the McCowan Learning Community. Kelsey Anderson. Shamika Anira. Madison Bagnall. Emma Barr. Nicole Bergen. Jacob Christensen. Cirrus Kola. Harpinder Dinsa. Haley Egan. Christian Finley. Samantha Fitzgerald. Joelle Friesen. Abby Fife. Kyle Grover. Hunter Hayes. John Henrich. Roberto Infante. Mitchell Kinkor. Benjamin Kreitlow. Tyler Larson. Nathaniel Mullen. Theodora Ordog. Abioye Oshode. Eli Perez. Francesca Prospero. Alex Ryer. Saul Rodriguez. Velarshana Santana. Christopher Schonbacher. Joshua Schulte. Atalina Sayano. Timothy Sevchek. Christopher Sidwell. Risham Singh. Emily Salsrud. Joseph Stearns. Daniel Sayud. Hanora Van Ert.
And now, perhaps, there is no greater social duty than the one the physician accepts. And physicians hold a unique knowledge that requires years of patient study and a constant desire for continued education. Class of 2022, when you decided to become a physician, You made a promise to practice the art and science of medicine faithfully and truthfully. You have agreed to accept the duty of helping your fellow human beings, and this is not a promise to be taken lightly. Whether we make a difference one patient at a time or through research that will help scores of people, we must always remember that promise. The Hippocratic Oath, named for Hippocrates, the ancient Greek physician and father of modern medicine, was created to emphasize the promise you have made. Our college has been celebrating this oath since our first white coat ceremony in 1995. To our students, I urge you to think about the true meaning of this oath as you join me in making these vows. Students, please now stand and join me in reciting the Hippocratic Oath. I do solemnly swear by that which I hold most sacred, that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine and just and generous to all, that I will lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor, that into whatsoever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick to the utmost of my power. I, holding myself aloof from wrong, from corruption, and from the temptation of others to vice, that I will exercise my art solely for the cure of my patients, and will give no drug, perform no operation for a criminal purpose, even if solicited, and far less suggest such a thing. That whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of others, which is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep inviolably secret. These things I do promise, and in proportion as I am faithful to this, my oath, may happiness and good repute be ever mine, the opposite if I shall be forsworn. Students, please be seated. This concludes the formal portion of the ceremony, and we ask the students to gather on the grand staircase outside the auditorium for a class picture. We ask family and friends to please remain in their seats until the recessional has finished. A reception will follow up in Stanley Cafe and down in the Smith lobby. So thank you for joining us today. Have a good afternoon and a pleasant weekend. Thank you.